Dagnabbit. Looks like Twitch is back. That's good. Cool. Thank you. Sorry, folks. I just made some changes to my UI and dorked with my scenes in OBS, so hopefully that's the last of the hiccups in the road. Yeah, teacher days are pretty nice. Remember they started instituting those around, at least in the state that I lived in, my public school system, and around high school. Give them some time to catch up on their paperwork, have a day that's still nominally a work day, by which they don't have to worry about students all day. And happy birthday, Chaos. Of course. Hope you have a rockin' day. Let's see what quests we can do here. We don't want to do the Cure the Genophage quest. Yeah, there's some side quests we can do here. Let's do as many side quests as we can. This Grissom Academy one is a reference to one of the Mass Effect books. Namely, it's a reference to the second book, Mass Effect Ascension. Good chunk of that takes place on this ship. It's like a center for gifted biotics and gifted kids. Some reference to it in the earlier games, like there's a side quest. I should do a stream vote to see who we should take. Who should we take with us? Take whoever has the top 2 most votes. Let's do Javik, Garrus, Edie, Liara, James. Go. I'll give it a point to everybody if you wanted to vote with confidence. Yes, Chaos. Charles Barkley, Shut Up and Jam is a Japanese RPG set in a universe in which the events of the movie Space Jam are canonical. If you've never played it before, you owe a playthrough. It's actually one of the games that I had on my list of games that I wanted to play when I first started streaming, like in the first week. I ended up removing it because it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a big draw. But I might do like Shut Up and Jam 2 when it comes out. I think there's a niche audience that's into that. It's a really, really funny game, though. Yeah, it's basically it's a parody of JRPGs. So the whole game is just making fun of Japanese RPG conventions. Beyond being extremely funny, like, you know, like the opening screen, you go in the options. One of the first options you can set is to have the entire language of the game in Albed. But beyond just the funniness of the title, it's actually a really good RPG. Like the combat system's really good. It's a lot like Super Mario RPG. Yeah, it's awesome. Yep. You should play through it. Good soundtrack. Funny pieces. Let's see, we got a vote for there for Liara. So right now, there's a tie between Liara, Garrus, and Javik. I'm going to roll a 1d3 to figure out which of those we take. Let's do... Let's see. Let's do 1 to 2 Garrus, 3 and 4 Javik, 5 and 6 Liara. Okay, so Liara is going to be 1, and then we'll roll for the other one. 1 is Garrus. Let's do a coin flip. Heads is Garrus, tails is Javik. Okay, so Liara and Javik. Ruled out Edie and James, though. I don't think I need to change anybody's anything, really. Guess I could give her some weapon mods. I don't know if I have a second one for the... Yeah, okay. You... Probably don't want the melee stunner. Let's do magazine upgrade. That's probably the weapon I'll have her use. That's right, we reset her. Perfect. Let's get her all these points then. We got recharge speed of all powers. Let's get recharge speed. Power, force, and duration. It's going to be her jam. And let's do her singularity, and then let's max out her singularity since it's so good. Hey Sky Corvus, how you doing? Hold duration by 30%. Additional enemies can be lifted. Let's do that. Recharge speed is already super tiny. You can do the damage thing, although I guess once they've already been hit by singularity, I guess if she's spamming it all the time, that could be pretty good. And then what else should we give her? She doesn't need warp ammo because we have it on our main character. We'll do warp. Awesome. Alright, and then you, my friend, I guess we can do lift grenade. I think lift grenade's on a separate cooldown from all the other powers, so it's a decent one to put points into fairly early. Alright, I'm happy with this. Moral Atheist, I need to play Choice Chamber. I heard quite a bit about that at TwitchCon this year. That would be fun to do, maybe as a Wednesday free play game, once Mario Maker starts to slow down a bit. That would be fun. So would this other game I saw called Streamline. It's like one streamer versus the chat, essentially.
Let's hear it. SSB Normandy, this is Kaylee Sanders, director of Grissom Academy. We need immediate assistance. Cerberus is attacking the facility. They're after my students.
Kaylee Sanders is the main character of the second Mass Effect book. This is our first time actually meeting her in-game.
Any alternatives? There's an auxiliary cargo port I could probably open. Alright, we'll come in by shuttle and get your students out of there. Joker, can you give me a diversion?
Oh boy, can I?
Hey Stimpy, how you doing? See you again.
Come and get me.
This is on 360. I have 2 of the games on PC, but the reason I've been playing on 360 is that's where I have all my DLC. May as well just keep it all in one place. Looks pretty good, though.
Keep the shuttle in position. We'll be back.
Yeah, so I think Choice Chamber's the one where viewers can, like, spawn things into the game to actively try to kill you. Or they can try to spawn power-ups to you. I haven't played it before, but it would be a cool one, since it's built with, like, Twitch in mind. Streamline's kind of the same thing, but it's more of a like a team battle game. Alright, let's make sure everyone's got the weapons we want them to have. Rifle. She can have a pistol too.
Got it.
She's mostly going to be in singularity mode for this fight, I think, this mission. Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun, the Moral Atheist. Is it still huge on Twitch? Like, how many people are playing it right now? This is the place where people would play it, right? Let's throw on... Ooh, that Scott Warp ammo. What? One thing they've never fixed with Mass Effect is ensuring that the game remembers your gun selections for yourself and your squad mates.
Clear. It's me.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable, Atheist.
Admiral Anderson always said you were the best. And with Cerberus coming for my students, I need the best. How many of you are there? Fewer than 20. Most were sent home when word of the Reaper invasion spread. But a few volunteered to stay. Some are prototyping tech for the Alliance. Others are biotics. They've been training for military operations, working together as biotic artillery.
You said something about Admiral Anderson.
Yes, we met, God, what's it been? 20 years ago when he was.
Yeah, she's actually in the first book
I
too.
was there when
But Anderson is the
David
the
saved my life that day. He's a good man.
point of view
He was
character,
on Earth.
POV character in the first book.
He stayed behind when I got off world.
I hadn't heard. We've been cut off from most news. He's alive?
Alive and fighting. He's currently leading the resistance movement.
Good. If we get out of here, well, just tell him to stay alive.
Interesting notes. In the Carpagin book, it jumps around POVs quite a bit. Like I said, it focuses mostly on Anderson in the first one and mostly on Kaylee in the second one. They mentioned that in the Mass Effect universe, there's no such thing as like a natural blonde anymore. Since it's a recessive trait, it's been bred out of humanity. So anyone who has blonde hair has dyed their hair blonde.
A few months knocking over practice dummies can't prepare your students for war.
Agreed, but the Alliance needs every resource it can get.
Goal morally, I mean, the fewer people playing it on Twitch, the more likely I'll be able to play it sooner rather than later, right? I have to reach certain like tiers of viewership to unlock my ability to productively play some of those like free play games. There's a reason I don't do like Diablo or Smash Wii U on stream. A lot of people do.
Orion Hall?
Back out the door and down the hallway. I can get the door open.
I'll bring them back here and we'll make a run for the shuttle.
Thank you, Commander. I'll stay put. With luck, I can regain control of some of our systems.
All right. I think the Mass Effect books are worth a read. The first two are much better than the third one. The third one's kind of stretching it a little bit. You're kind of stretching it a little bit. That's horrific. I think you want to come to this mission pretty early after it unlocks. There's some kind of hidden time limit. I also believe that Jack shows up here as depending on whether or not you did her loyalty mission. I think if you failed her loyalty mission or if you lost her loyalty at the end of the game, she's been dominated by the Cerberus troops, and you encounter her here. Let's send out a singularity and throw a little guy. That was easy. Make sure I still have... No, I want that to be right bumper. B, and you can be left bumper. Cool. What's up, Biotic Dude?
There may be more nearby. Play dead until it's safe, then get to Kaylee Sanders at security.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that, Chaos. It's more of a average concurrent viewers. I guess follows are less of a useful metric, but I'll still be celebrating with that 24-hour Super Mario Brothers stream I was talking about. Probably in 3 weeks, I would say, at this rate. Kids are getting better at this shit, but I'm worried. I don't think we've got enough time to pull this off. There's just no way they could really survive out there without any more training, not without any field experience at all. Raises a good point. Hey, Daehan. How you doing? Fighter of the Night, Han. I wonder if these are going to become relevant soon. Not right now. Whoa. He asks, enemies appearing from around the corner. Alright. Let's go with our sentry gun first. And let's start overloading them. And Engineer is pretty OP in this game. Spawn, I've never used them before. I think I've done it in the multiplayer a little bit. Which I'll likely do. I'll check out the multiplayer a little bit before we beat this game. Maybe we'll give one session to it. Kind of show it off. Hey, Pax. How you doing, man?
She's bleeding. Shepard, we need to help her.
Sean, can you hear me?
How do you know my name?
I saved your brother. He's with Kaylee Sanders at security. Can you get to her?
Yeah.
Right. These are all students at the Biotic Academy. They're not all necessarily biotics.
I just got an emergency message from the students in Orion Hall. One of our instructors is with them, but they can't hold out much longer.
I'm on it.
Eat this!
Hey, check it out.
Shepard?
So she's here and safe because she was loyal in the previous game. This is kind of a cool character arc. I was just discussing Mass Effect versus Dragon Age with a friend of mine on Facebook this morning. We were talking about how playing the same character in all three Mass Effect games kind of holds back the story a little bit. It forces a sort of small galaxy effect where you keep running into the same people in every game. Like, really, this place is supposed to be massive, but they feel compelled to make sure that you see Jack and Grunt and Garrus and Tali, whether or not it makes sense. And that's less of the case, or it feels like that's less of the case in Dragon Age, where you're playing a different character in each game, and they tend to only bring somebody back if it really makes sense from a story perspective to do so. That's why we see Liara presented the way that she is, in a way that kind of strains credibility, that she goes from being this, like, archaeologist to being an information broker, just because they feel like they need to bring her back. I still love Mass Effect, it's still my favorite setting ever, but I hear that point that by having you control a different protagonist in Dragon Age, they don't feel so shoehorned into making sure you see the same faces, game to game to game. Hey, Knight, how you doing? DJ Cave Slave. It's groovin'. I think we just gotta kill dudes for a while, right? Wait, dudes at? Oh, they're over here to the left. Yeah, I'm on it.
Kaylee said she was putting out an SOS. I had no idea the Queen of the Girl Scouts would show up. Alright, amp check. Prangley, those fields were weak. Cerberus isn't gonna lie down out of pity like that girl you took to prom. Grab juice and an energy bar. We move in 5.
I hadn't heard of it. Can you sell me on No Man's Sky, Moral Atheist? What's the elevator pitch for it?
You're not telling me anything I haven't told myself, Jack.
Oh, you feel bad? Well, shit. I bet that's a big comfort to all the people Cerberus has killed.
I'd forgotten how angry she was.
Whereas I barely remember you at all, Blue.
Your real first name is Jennifer. I can find your last name if you ask.
Whoa, really?
Okay, right now, all I care about is getting my guys out of here.
I've never brought Liara on this mission.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like procedurally generated most of the time. Sometimes it can, like, strike you with that feeling of existential crisis. The existential angst or dread that inevitably comes up when you're playing a video game for too long. If they do it well, though, if it's got set content in addition to the procedurally generated content, you think you can get a lot of value out of it, like with Minecraft or Starbound.
I can't think of anybody who could care about them more.
Well, I had some free time.
It might be fun to check out on a free play kind of a thing.
Alliance Brass knew I helped you. They offered me this. And apparently the students responded well to my teaching style.
The psychotic biotic.
I will destroy you! Drink your juice, Rodriguez.
That's a reference back to Mass Effect 1, actually.
Cortez to extraction team. The Cerberus cruisers.
Hey, Toonlong, how you doing?
How long have we got?
2 minutes tops, Commander. After that, there's no way we'll get past them.
That's pretty cool, Kami.
Get out of here and back to the Normandy. We'll find
But less of a Minecraft focus like you have in Starbound, I'm guessing.
Shepard to Sanders. The students are safe, but the shuttle's a no-go.
Understood. I might know another way off the station, but I need station-wide camera access. Can you disable the Cerberus security override? It's routed through Orion Hall, so it should be nearby.
Oh, interesting. Does it have like an increased time step or something? If you actually have a serious risk of your sun going red giant on the planet you visited,
Get us off this station.
is there a way you can fast forward time?
Cruiser won't auto-target friendly ships, which gives us a fighting chance to escape. Give me back the cameras, and I'll find a path to the shuttles that keep Cerberus from boxing you in. You really think we're getting out of here?
Of course we are.
Hey, Cloud Reaver.
Sorry. I can't believe you and our teacher work together.
We'll be ready when you need us.
Maybe we've got a chance. So our teacher works.
So this is one of the ones where I don't think that Jack being at Grissom Academy is shoehorned in. I think that makes perfect sense with the way they set her up in Mass Effect 2. There's a couple, like the fact that Thane happens to be at the same hospital on the Citadel that Caden is in, a little too convenient.
Hey, let me know when we've got a new way off this station. How are the students handling the war? How do you think? They're a bunch of teenagers. Until a few
That
months
Grunt
ago,
happened to be on that Rachni mission we did
sound like
last
they
week.
laid. You don't think they're ready for war? I don't think they have a choice.
Oh, I got you, moral atheist.
So all this talk about biotic artillery strikes, it's great in theory. Maybe they'll get it together once they've seen some action.
But we're up now, so let's keep going.
They'd be better off as support. Put them in the back ranks, helping with barriers and shit. I don't know. Have you told them that? No. They need me to believe in them.
Probably
Just
Comcast.
pick up a few things listening to your damn speeches.
Aw.
I have to say, Jack, you look good. Yeah, well, maybe
Yeah,
some
right,
of your
Kami.
attitude rubbed off on me. I never had a family. And these guys... Anyone screws with my students, I will tear them apart. What's so valuable about these students? Biotically, I mean. Well, what's scarier than a pissed-off biotic attacker? A whole bunch of them working together. It's like a biotic artillery strike. Any asshole gets in our way, we rip him to shreds.
Like on Pragia? Yeah.
Isn't that the kind of thing you wanted to destroy on Pragia? You know damn well it wasn't. Cerberus was torturing kids on Pragia. These guys are older, and they volunteered, and the only ones feeling any pain are the bad guys.
Raises a good point.
Stick close. We'll get you out of here. Good.
So the point I was making before stream went down there was that I feel like they did a good job with Jack. It absolutely makes sense that Jack is here. They foreshadowed this place. It's in the books. You talk to her. It meshes with her arc. It's not like Liara randomly being the Shadow Broker or Thane randomly being at the same hotel or hospital that Caden's at. Like, they go way out of their way to do this sort of small galaxy thing where you keep seeing the same faces over and over. And only a few of the stories really make sense. Yeah, right. Hey, thanks for the host, people. I appreciate that. Wait, is there like a laptop that's just out in the open somewhere? Maybe it's up top. Gotta be in here somewhere, right? There it is. Oh, that's just datapad. I found some credits. I found some credits. I found some credits. Hey, 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 hey. Where's the laptop? Maybe it's somewhere out on like the edges of this room. All right. Base 10. Everyone's favorite base. Hey, there it is. Cerberus camera control. Vital retrieval subject due to high low biotic abilities paired with high leadership testing scores. Student ID 12D Prangley. Consider prime candidate for indoctrination and high-level enhancements for subsequent long-term infiltration relocation. Hey, thanks Skyhawk for the host.
Have access now.
Got it. The fastest way is through the atrium, but Cerberus has sealed the doors. You'll need to disable the magnetic locks. The overrides should be directly above the door.
I already did the Tuchanka bomb mission. Find the manual overrides directly above the door. That should be up here. I remember being stuck in this part when I played this game for the first time. There we go. Other more different directly above the doors. No, I want to get one more point.
We're open now. I'll get to the shuttles ahead of you and get a pair.
I can see if I can level up Liara and Javik right quick. Yeah, she can learn warp. Let's do combo detonations. We're probably going to be using in practice most of the time. Let's do damage. And off we go.
Everyone, be ready. We'll go in first and draw their fire. We'll shadow you from the second level and hit those guys from above.
A useful tactic. They would avoid direct fire.
Just time your shots and stay safe.
I think I still like Javik
Bust my ass
quite a bit.
training you so you could die now. Keep low, pick your targets.
Students of Grissom Academy, the station is sealed. The Alliance soldiers cannot save you. All they can do is get you killed.
Hey, propaganda.
You won't be harmed.
Asshole.
Damn it, they're messaging everyone. Students, switch your Omni tools to privacy mode so they can't track you.
So does anyone know, who are you interacting with here if you either let Jack die in Mass Effect 2 or if she was not loyal? Are you interacting with anyone? There's like just a leader of these students or something?
What if they're not lying?
You've already held your own against Cerberus. You've been trained for this by one of the best. Come on, Rodriguez. They're only asking nicely because you scared them in that last fight. So take your balls out of your purse and kick some ass.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go.
Does Jack have like a tic-tac-toe tattoo? Tic-tac-toe? Alright, let's look. This is a fun room. I think I played this on Insanity in my first playthrough. This room is not fun on Insanity. Kaylee Sanders. Yeah, she's the one from the books. She's the main character of the second book and a pretty major character of the first book. So if you like the series, I recommend you read the first two books. They're pretty good. Extra backstory. Some stuff that didn't make it into the codex entries, like the, there are no natural blondes comment I made earlier. It's the book revelation. I think we want to kill... kill the engineers, because if we don't, they can make more turrets. Oh, it's like outright stated their romantic relationship is a thing. You're a tic-tattoo. Kill the engineers so they can make more dudes. Alright, doing alright. Throw out some more drones. Always use more drones. Kill the engineers. Nice. Who's shooting at me from where? You making a... You don't get to live. Someone else is hitting me now. It might be the mech. No, there's a Centurion. I think the flamethrower was the right decision. I changed it from the rockets. I tend to like throw it at the enemies, so having it throw rockets isn't really worth it, especially since the cooldown is so low. It has to be basically 0. Alright. Oh, there's the dude. No, they're helping us out with biotics. Thanks, kids. Good looking out. That's why you don't put eye holes in your shields. You just walk forward blindly. Don't give me the opportunity to murder you. Yeah, Quarians and Freedom's Progress reference an event in the second book.
Kaylee, we're in
There
the
aren't really any references to the third book, because the third book was Karpyshyn before he got removed from the project. And then Casey Hudson and team kind of changed the direction of the story in Mass Effect 3 from what Karpyshyn was going toward. So very few tie-togethers. Might not be for the worst, though. The story in the third book is kind of weird. It involves this dude being turned into like a Reaper hybrid. Being outfitted with Cerberus Reaper technology, kind of like these guys are. If I recall correctly, it also abandons the idea, like, Karpyshyn had to write very carefully in the second book to not directly say anything about Commander Shepard, like reveal Shepard's gender, or reveal decisions that Shepard may have made. And it was challenging, but I think that he wrote it successfully without explicitly saying that, you know, Shepard saved the Council or let the Council die. The third book does the opposite. It assumes a canonical Shepard. Probably just because it got harder and harder for Karpyshyn to write without referencing these major events. Like, how can you include Anderson if we don't know if Anderson's a counselor or not? And how are we going to avoid having him talk about that to Kaylee Sanders? Hey, thanks for the host, Psy16s. How you doing? I should check out Psy16's Twitch channel. Dude. Yeah, buying the books on the Citadel kind of messes with the verisimilitude of the game universe, right? It even, like, mentions that it's written by Drew Karpyshyn. I'm like, okay, didn't have to do that. Don't do that. I think that even I'm playing on hardcore, I promise. But Shepard is crazy OP in the single player campaign. Like, her and her squad mates get so many, like, stacking buffs that you're destroying stuff even if you're playing on a really hard difficulty, especially compared to Mass Effect 2, where insanity is legitimately hard even if you have the, you know, best setup for it. Alright, let's keep moving. If you guys see any issues with the stream going down again, let me know. Trying to keep an eye on my bit rate there in the corner. If you haven't used OBS before, there's a little green square that turns red if something bad happens. Let's do dark channel. Let's throw a sentry in there. Yeah, Singularity plus flamethrower sentry gun is pretty cool.
I'm Commander Shepard with the Alliance. I'm here to help.
I didn't buy it from the last guy, and I've got no reason to buy it now.
The square root of 906.01 equals...
Hey, if you don't remember, this is the guy from the Overlord DLC in Mass Effect.
Hello, Commander Shepard.
David, you know her?
Yes. She rescued me from Cerberus. Sent me here. She made it quiet.
One of those decisions that actually has a correct answer, interestingly. I think you get an upgrade if you save him, and you just get penalized if you don't.
Okay. Thanks.
Has Grissom Academy been all right?
Yes. I've been counting.
Anything in particular?
The number of days you lengthened my life.
Mm-hmm.
The security office.
Thanks, Skyhawk.
I hacked the lock. Guns. Lots of guns. Goodbye.
Quoting the Matrix on me. I've only ever played Mass Effect 3 once, and no, I did everything in it. Done Mass Effect 1 about 20 times and Mass Effect 2 about 10 times. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you get that gun at all if you don't save him. Yep. Well, I'm on a new Restream ingest now. I was previously connecting to their Western servers. I'm now connected to their East Coast servers, so it might be a little laggier on my end. You might see a bit longer of a stream delay, but I'd take 2 more seconds of stream delay over it crashing every 15 minutes. Let's go with this. Oops. And this. It ends up damaging him either way. Oh, do we get to ride in this thing? We do, don't we? Cool. Thank you to everybody for hanging out until stream comes back up. No, it's really frustrating. Hoping we're going to be okay now, since we've made an actual change. Defend the students. I might actually want to, like, not use this thing. Get out and kill stuff. As cool as this is, I think I'm stronger without it. Where are the other dudes in here? Yeah, I don't have a meter, which is part of the problem. Yeah, right. Where are the dudes? Yeah, let's get out of here. It's cool looking, but I'd rather kill stuff when I can, like, check my list here. Yara, you want to throw a singularity at that guy? There you go. I can just chill here and kill things as they jump down. Is this the only place where they come from? It might be. I'm close to it anyway. There's a guy over here that I haven't killed yet. Try to take care of him real quick. It's just like directly attacking their barrier, maybe? Nope. No, you don't. There we go. Killed. Ah, so they come out of both sides here. What's the deal with singularity? Haven't heard of it. So they don't always come from behind there, they come from several entrances. I just like leave a flamethrower there, just burn people as they fall. Whoa, can you not?
Hostiles up top.
Yeah, go for it, Buckin. Thank you for asking. Ah, there they are. I was like, the hostiles. I want to get Overload leveled up more. It's really, really good. To get more points into it. I can almost spam it. My cooldowns are so low. Who else is in here? Oh, this dude's on the other side. Running, 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 running. No, you don't. Ain't trying to hear about any of that. Hey, Pax, how you doing? You alright? Hi, Ben. Cat hype. Yes, I have. Can you post the link to it? It's really cool. It's certainly not true, but it makes sense. It's this theory that Jar Jar Binks is secretly a Sith master. He uses the Drunken Master's style. I think the most convincing piece of evidence for it is that Jar Jar Binks isn't any sillier than Yoda was in the first half of Empire Strikes Back. Yoda's a pretty silly character, but we like Yoda because we find out that he's actually a badass partway through the movie. But if all of Empire Strikes Back was just Yoda being silly and we never saw him pay off, people would have hated Yoda.
Hurry, Commander. The Normandy has...
Yeah, right, Cloud Reaver? Like the whole indoctrination theory, I want that to be true, but I recognize that it's not true at all. Recognize that's not really what they intended. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, George Lucas has said that Jar Jar Binks had a bigger role, that he changed the story when people hated the character. People are like saying that Jar Jar Binks is the Phantom Menace. It's a cool article. You should read it. Yeah, exactly, Cloud Reaver.
How's it coming?
Shuttles are unlocked.
Take the controls and get this
That's the
thing
worst
forward.
answer.
Wait, where the hell's Rodriguez?
Well, I think his weakest piece of evidence in that argument is the whole scene where, like, Jar Jar drops off one side and then falls on the other. That's just a continuity error. Like, but you want it to mean something, don't you?
She needs covering fire.
She needs more than that.
What's the Hey Arnold theory?
Joker, we flew out on a Cerberus.
That one, it's continuity that Jar Jar's on the wrong side, and the droid completely missing is just a feature of those shitty droids. They're worse than stormtroopers when it comes to not hitting the characters.
Watch your fire.
Right, I've got you on sensors. Should just be a minute.
Thank you, Commander. We'd have never gotten off that station if you hadn't come.
Forget that. We kicked some ass. Next place we dock, you're all getting inked. My treat. What do you
Big
got
chronic
going?
eyeballs. How you
Ascension
doing?
Project logo? Glowing fist? Maybe a unicorn for Rodriguez?
Screw you, ma'am.
I can't believe we got them out alive. I was going to suggest that they stick to support roles. But perhaps they're ready after all.
Alright, so this is going to be a stream vote. Let me put this out. How should we use the biotic students? Support roles, ready for battle. That was front lines, I guess. You can vote 1 for support roles, vote 2 for front lines, and I'll give everyone a sphere point. Got 3 for support, 1 for front lines. I'll give it a quick countdown here. Chaos. I could probably close this. I don't think people are going to top 4 votes here.
They're definitely ready, but the Alliance needs them in a support role.
What? We trained for artillery strikes.
We don't need another artillery unit. We need stronger barriers for our frontline squads.
This is bullshit.
Hey, if that's where they need us, that's where we go. Besides, I'm sure we'll get some shots in.
Ah, but so could Yoda. The argument that he's a parallel to Yoda makes sense, though. Because Yoda is also a ridiculous character for the first half of Empire Strikes Back.
Screw you, Flight Lieutenant.
What the hell was that?
Jack promised to watch your language in order to maintain the necessary professionalism we need from our teachers.
Would she have a swear jar or something? Because I bet if we empty that thing, we can afford another cruiser.
Cover your ears, kids. Hey, Joker.
It's a cool scene. Yeah, hey Pex, I'm as excited about the Jar Jar theory as I am about the indoctrination theory, which we're not going to talk about at length until the very end of Mass Effect 3. I'll tell you all about it.
Good work, Shepard.
I was a believer. I was full-on Mulder with the indoctrination theory.
The technically minded students looking at the Crucible. Apparently, David Archer has already given them some ideas.
They're definitely eager to help.
These students are some of the best humanity has to offer, and we're throwing them into battle. God damn it, I hate this war.
Yeah, Death of the Author stuff is cool, I agree.
Kaylee Sanders is safe. She's with the recruits.
Thanks, Shepard. When I heard about the attack, well, I've already lost a lot of friends.
She asked me to tell you to stay alive.
Did she now? Well,
Actually, Buckin, a lot of people hate that Yoda uses a lightsaber in episode 2 and 3. They hate it more than anything. And I hear the argument both ways. One argument is that it looks cool. The other argument is it kind of undermines Yoda as a character. Like what his arc represents in the original trilogy. I don't think it's as severe of undermining of the character as the whole Greedo shot first edit. But it is kind of contrary to the point that he puts across. No, don't let Kami grump you out. You should read this article because it's fun. Have some fun in your life.
Damn. Okay, I guess we gotta be ready for anything to come through that. You've got new messages, Commander.
Yeah. The whole thing with the theme with Yoda is that they're kind of establishing that he's this, you know, judge me by my size, do you? Like, he's not necessarily a great fighting warrior. It's sort of a mind over matter thing that they're pushing. All right, let's bounce out. Yeah. I personally don't really mind Yoda with the lightsaber. They make for cool scenes, and like those little cool action scenes are your oases of joy in the midst of a lot of sorrow in the prequel trilogy. Like, you know, the whole Darth Maul sequence, minus some of its stupid choreography bits, is pretty cool. If you haven't, you guys should watch the Red Letter Media prequel reviews. Mr. Plinkett, if you've never seen them, they redeemed the prequel's existence, I think, because they wouldn't have existed if the prequels hadn't have been so horrible. He talks about what makes the prequel trilogy so bad. And it actually gives you a really good insight into what makes good movies good. Like, once you see what makes the prequel so bad, you kind of appreciate the original trilogy more, and you appreciate good cinematography, good storytelling in other stories quite a bit more. Like, Lucas violates show don't tell a lot. He uses lots of exposition. Most of his scenes in the prequel trilogy are like one character facing another character and then just like switch the frame on whoever's talking. They never really do anything interesting. If someone wants to link the Plinkett videos, you're welcome to. Stick with our squad vote for the day. No changes. Can't do overload yet, can we? No, we were saving for warp ammo. It's fine. Hey, Q Russell, how you doing? Thanks, Cloud Reaver.
Squads have infiltrated one of the major cities on Benning. Initial reports indicated they were recruiting civilians, but further investigation suggested that people are being...
I highly recommend you set aside some time this weekend to just watch all of the Plinkett reviews of the prequels. They're really, really good. They're very funny. There's a couple parts that are like kind of pushing the whole serial killer narrative a little too far, but the actual main commentary on the prequels is outstanding.
For what purpose?
Unknown. We sent a recon team to investigate and the Cerberus squads reacted. by targeting civilians in public facilities. Officially, Cerberus is denying responsibility in condemning the action. They're either lying, or we're dealing with a rogue faction.
And innocents are caught in their crosshairs.
Exactly. Secure the area so we can establish a rescue lifeline to the rest of the city.
Approaching the drop point, Commander.
Copy that, Lieutenant.
The people down there are counting on you, Commander. Hack it out.
Hack it out. Schedule update. We're playing Mass Effect 3 for another 53 minutes. We lost some time today due to technical issues, but fingers are crossed that we've resolved those by changing the ingest server. Valkyria Chronicles starts at 2 o'clock Pacific, and then from 4 to 6 we're doing some Xenosaga Episode 1 and Legend of the Mystical Ninja.
On my way. Keep me updated.
Uh-oh. I gotta secure my microphone 1 sec. So this is one of several N7 missions, I think they're called, where you play a single-player mission on the same map as you would if you were doing multiplayer. Let me pause this real quick. Saving my microphone from coming crashing off my desk. Okay, we're back. Let's go. Yeah, this is actually a really tough map in the multiplayer. Let's see. There are dudes you have to fight here. The way the multiplayer works is you go up against one of 3 factions, I think. They may have added collectors as a 4th faction. I stopped playing the multiplayer maybe a month or 2 after the game came out. Yeah, so you can fight Cerberus, you can fight the Reapers, you can fight the Geth, I think is one. Okay, it's all fine. And it sounds like the collectors as well. And there are certain factions that are extra nasty on certain maps. Like the Reapers are really nasty on this map. We bump into them. They have some elite units that we haven't really encountered in the game that are really hard to deal with here. Yeah, the multiplayer is really good. I'll do it on stream. I think it's worth showing off to you guys if you've never seen it before. It's one of those, I wish the multiplayer didn't exist because I can't get away from the idea that they took some of their resources away from making this an outstanding single-player game to make it a multiplayer game. But given that it has to exist, it's actually really good. It's got a cool balance to the different classes, it's fun co-op.
What is it, Lieutenant?
It fits into the story fairly nicely. Don't think they really did anything wrong with the multiplayer,
Where are they?
given that it's there. Yeah. Oh yeah, the stealth guys. The song playing here, I believe, is Morden's music from Mass Effect 2. So they reuse a lot of the soundtrack from Mass Effect 1 and 2 here. I think whenever you do these missions, you're usually fighting Cerberus. I don't know if they actually have you fighting any of the other factions in the single-player game. Doing all the missions, though, unlocks some assets. Increase your readiness score.
Look, reinforcements are here.
Reinforcements!
Stay calm. Just stay down. You heard him. We hold here.
Where are we holding? Shoot. Guess we'll just stand out here. This is where the enemies all seem to be coming to. That used to be a destructible box in Mass Effect 2. Yeah, so the way that it works is playing the multiplayer gives you a multiplier on your readiness rating. And you need to have a readiness rating of something like 5,500. It's been a while. But let's pretend like it's that number for argument. Let's say you have to have a readiness multiplier of 5,000 to get or readiness value of 5,000 to get the best ending. there is 5,000 points worth of readiness in the game by itself, but you can get the multiplier to get you up to double your existing score. So you can either do half of the quests in the game and then play a shitload of multiplayer and get your readiness maxed out, or you can just do every single thing you possibly can in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 and never touch the multiplier, multiplier, and you'll be fine. So that wasn't confusing. Yes, it is necessary. People didn't know this when the game first came out. Like, the night of release, everyone wasn't sure if we had to do multiplayer or not, because we didn't completely understand how the math worked. BioWare stated that you didn't have to, but it didn't seem like that was true. It wasn't until a month later or so when people had actually done the numbers research, figured out what the differences were with different readiness values. Yeah. It was at a time where people were extremely distrusting of BioWare and EA because of the whole fiasco with player faces not being saved between games. People were expecting that to not be an issue, and when it was an issue, people freaked out. Hey, Dieter, how you doing, man? No making... Dang it. Bad time. Killed the turret, though, so we're fine. I think we can just chill here and keep killing stuff. Oh, yeah. You talking about the face thing or the readiness thing, Kami? I mean, I still think people complaining about it was a problem, but it is true that BioWare and EA weren't entirely forthcoming about exactly how readiness worked and what it was going to impact. I mean, I guess they couldn't be without spoiling the end of the game. Readiness, gotcha. So obviously, like, getting your knickers in a twist and complaining on the internet isn't going to help no matter what the problem is. And check wagons. What's the Adventure Time phrase? He's a real-time dingle blaster. You also check out the new season of Adventure Time, by the way. I think they're on the 3rd episode now. The first 2 are really, really good. I haven't seen the 3rd one yet. These first 2 are excellent. I'm excited for the new season. I actually stopped following the series after the end of the last season. I was expecting it was going to be a couple of years before we got another season, so it was a pleasant surprise. That is likely true. I agree, Kami. Yeah, arguments that include I feel aren't really arguments. I feel the same way about the keywords why don't they just. Anything that starts with why don't they just do X is flawed. It's oversimplifying something that's complicated. That's a pretty common sentiment from the gaming community. People don't really have an intuition for how much work goes into making a game. I guess that applies, you know, outside of gaming too. Why don't they just give dinner to every homeless person? Yeah, why don't they just? That seems easy. Let's just do that. Yeah, I think that I'm hopeful that Mario Maker is going to expose a lot of young people to what goes into making a game. and it's like babies first making a game, right? They've already set up all those tools for you. And you see people already complaining, why aren't there checkpoints in Mario Maker? Why don't they have slopes? Blah, 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 blah. But still, like, just kind of getting a general idea of what goes into making a good level, even when all the tools are provided for you by somebody else. I hope that puts people on the right track.
Continuing strikes against other cities on Benning.
Cerberus still denying responsibility?
Yeah, exactly, Cloud Reaver.
For once, we're inclined to believe them gunning down innocent humans isn't their usual MO. Either way, the civilians down there have a chance now. We're solidifying a foothold and getting people out, then we'll move to liberating the rest of the planet.
I hope we can say the same for Earth.
One day, Commander. For now, we've got our work cut out for us. Carry on.
Yeah, my exposure to it was RPG Maker as a kid, which is another really good tool. I think that it's good to expose kids to. RPG Maker gives you a lot of the tools you need. It makes your life really easy if you want to make a game, but when you realize just how much goes into making a good RPG, like there is no 8 or 9-year-old, I think I was. I had RPG Maker 95, so that would have made me... Yeah, it would have been like 8 or 9. There is no 8 or 9-year-old that has made a good RPG in RPG Maker. They've made probably a couple good levels, maybe. They've gotten to like a chapter or two, if they've really, really iterated on it. Hey, Q Russell, good seeing you again. How you doing? Right. Don't have any messages. Let's see if we have any more side quests. This game is all about gating. As you do the priority missions, you lock out side quests. You want to do as many side quests as you can before you touch the main story. Yeah, I've heard the modern RPG Maker is quite good. Although, what my point though about that isn't that RPG Maker 95 didn't have enough tools. It had plenty of tools to make an amazing game. It's just that the work that goes into it, like deciding what enemies to use, balancing them out, getting their stats to make sense, deciding what items you put in chests, deciding how you like usher the player along, like realizing that in order for a player to walk through a door, there's a lot of variables you have to have set that are hidden to the player. You know, you have to use switches and variables. It's a really good rudimentary introduction to coding for young kids. I think a kid as young as maybe 7 or 8 can probably do something productive in RPG Maker, but they'll get an appreciation for how big a video game is.
You're cleared to dock, Normandy. Do you need ground transport?
Let's see. Yeah, I think that if you were like sitting with your kid and showing them RPG Maker, like a modern version that has those shortcuts, I would make them do it the hard way first and then give them the shortcut. That's kind of that's like how you learn a lot of principles in math. Like, let's do this the really shitty, annoying way. Now that that's done, let me show you the easy way to do it. I think we have stuff to do here. Go to the refugee camp.
Yes, Commander.
All right, let's see. We have quests to do on the Citadel. Improve power grid. Okay, we need to find schematics. We need to find... These are like, we overheard people quests here. Cover it from the Shrike Abyssal. Okay, so I might be able to do that one now. Obsidian Commons. Obsidian Commons. We already did the one. Let's try to see if we can jump there.
Welcome, Commander Shepard. Please select a destination. 1 moment, please.
Oh, that's pretty cool, Darkstar. Easier to share your game with other people. I agree, Yukubo. Yes, I did the grunt mission.
Arriving at Presidium Commons.
I think I'm ready to end it with him. Things weren't great even before he...
I don't think we've even been to the Presidian Commons before, in this playthrough anyway. Oh man. Eavesdrop on a conversation inside with one of them.
None of us knows how to fight.
Mackenzie's a biotic. Dave and Graham go to the pistol range. Oh, and Orion's always buying mods for his shotgun.
The one
Let's
who
see.
inspired
Reaper Militia?
I love our friends, but we are not combat material.
I can't sit around watching what's happening to Earth anymore.
So, you want us to enlist as soldiers? Isn't there anything
All right,
else
so
we
here's
can
your
do?
vote. Vote 1 to support people putting together a,
None of us knows how to
like,
fight.
citizen militia. Vote 2 to oppose the citizen militia.
Oh, and Orion's always buying mods for his ship.
Argument for, we need as many guns as we can. Argument
Our
against,
friends, but
these are just civilians, they don't know what they're doing, they're gonna get themselves killed.
Shit, man, stupid people want to die, let them die.
Andrea, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Many pistol upgrades as we can. Get the aquarium VI, it just takes care of your fish for you. Not gonna worry too much about fish in this playthrough though. I'll come back to them and choose a support option in a little bit as I keep exploring up here.
Hello,
Commander Shepard. Welcome to the Presidium Commons. You are on the main promenade of the shopping galleria. Here you will find establishments offering specialized goods and services. For assistance or for information about our special promotion, talk to me or contact the Citadel Tourist and Visitor Board.
Yes, I've said before, Mass Effect is my favorite fictional setting. I would be very happy to live there. If they ever made a good Mass Effect MMO, I mean, hook me up to the machines like they have in, what is that movie, WALL-E? Where they're all like riding around all fat, connected forever. I will just do that.
Any other important
Keep me
jurisdictions
artificially
about-
alive.
The Normandy is currently docked in D-24.
Rather do that than snuggle with me?
To your biometrics.
God damn it. Can I be snuggling with you while in Mass Effect universe?
Absolutely not.
Influx of civilians to the Citadel.
That's not an option.
Andrea asked the tough questions.
Species official Citadel representative. Please go to Citadel embassies. For medical needs, the Presidium offers leading-edge care at the highest
See, that's why I like Mass Effect, is it doesn't have the Jedi. As much as I like Star Wars, it's science fantasy. I like that there's no, like, magic force dudes walking around.
That's all.
Biotics is close-ish, but
Again, if you require further
feels more grounded. Yeah, Dieter, the Zap Brannigan School of Military Thought. It looks like support militia is winning here.
So, you want us to enlist as soldiers? Isn't there anything
Oh, it's
else we
like,
can
the key to victory is the element of surprise. Surprise!
do? Knows how to fight.
Drops
The
them.
Alliance can use your help. There's plenty of non-combat roles.
Thanks. Who was that?
Yeah, who was that? Yes, Andrea absolutely wears the pants in this relationship.
I wear what I want.
Andrea airs whatever she wants in this relationship.
If we switch from financial VIs to military gear, we'll lose millions.
Thinking of going?
Snarl.
Sure.
Oh man, I think I go to a hallway here. We start hearing ads for
For the buddy cop?
Yeah, buddy cop with Blasto, the Hanar Spectre, and his Elcor buddy.
I thought this looked familiar. Yeah, there it is.
All right, Blasto, partners in crime. Let's go. Wait, so if you don't remember this, this is a throwaway joke in Mass Effect 2. When you're on the Asari planet, they keep talking about this Blasto, the Hanar Spectre movie. So Blasto's the first Hanar Spectre. He's a jellyfish. Like, they make some jokes. They don't actually say any of the lines. This is the first time we start hearing lines from it. So we're going to sit here and listen to these for a bit because they're really funny.
This one didn't have anything to ask them. You blew up half a level of Sakara Ward. It was an aesthetically displeasing habitat anyway. You don't get it, Kaje clan. Ever since they found Ezo on the Vorcha homeworld, the Council's been trying to make nice. Bottom line, you can't touch the Vorcha. They've got diplomatic immunity. Then this one will not attempt diplomacy. You're also getting a new partner. Are you engaging in reproductive behavior with this one? Unless you want your Spectre status revoked, you're working in a joint operation with Boobin from CSEC. And Elcor, you know this one works alone. Look,
You know this one works alone.
I've gotten
So we'll come back here and listen to this a few more times. No, I think biotics are pretty different. Like, the Force implies you have this, like, mystical perception of reality around you. I mean, I guess biotics lets you push and pull things at a distance. But there's clear, like, observable limits between different characters. You don't have one person that can, like, pull down a cavern or lift a ship and somebody else who can, like, you know, lift pebbles. It's rough. I hear the point, though.
I liked that I could just make a black hole that got everyone orbiting around it and then hit them with warp, and then it would explode with the black hole and kill everything.
I mean, biotics are like being a space wizard.
They're awesome.
But it feels very defined. There's not like this secret, like, pull something out of your butt power that you might have. Like, you can't suddenly become a ghost like you can in the Star Wars universe. See, I feel like the Vanguard time dilation thing is a... Mechanics are an abstraction. Like, that doesn't show up anywhere in the codexes for the game, doesn't show up anywhere in the books. Like, it's cool from a player perspective to have that as a mechanic when you're playing the game, but no one ever references the ability to do that as part of the story, if that makes sense.
I don't know what...
Knights of the Republic.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Star Wars game. It's really, really good.
Alright, hey.
By BioWare.
I don't even think we carry that version anymore.
I'm not going to put this one to a vote. This is a reference to a guy in the first Mass Effect game who's trying to get a return on an item from a Turian vendor. He asks for the Turian and comes back in Mass Effect 2 and tells him he needs to, like, get a receipt, turn it into the Solarian guys. They've been referencing it in all the games.
Let's get this over with. Here, I've sent you a full refund.
Really?
Yes. Of course I do.
You could probably do something with time dilation and general relativity if you've got, like, if you're varying mass anyway. Makes, like, a really big... Gravitational force screws up time.
Do you have a... Can you link me to the codex entry? Kami, I'd like to see that one. What does Sentry interface do? Plus shields. I'll buy all these, they all look good.
I'll just have one of everything on the menu.
Well, the ability description is a game mechanic, right? It's saying, like, you know, there's not an in-universe flavor that says plus 50% damage when you're using a shotgun over... That doesn't mean anything. That's entirely a gameplay mechanic. But if you went in a codex entry and it said, biotics can dilate time around them, like... There are powers that exist in the game universe that... like, I guess the adrenaline rush power slows down time from the perspective of the player. But, like, having an adrenaline rush in real life doesn't do that. Hey, what's Edie doing here?
Hello, Shepard. You look like you're gathering data. That is a safe assumption. Anything big and world-shaking? Man's inhumanity to man? Does objective reality really exist? That kind of thing? I was running scenarios in my head to analyze Jeff's behavior. I believe he has a strong affectionate attachment to me, but he has not stated it to anyone yet. When you are sexually interested in another, what kind of advances do you make?
The usual ones?
You know, there are the intimate talks, thoughtful gifts, joking around. Jeff does often try to lighten the mood with humor. That could indicate a 33.3 repeating % chance that he cares for me. But that is insufficient data.
33.3 repeating, of course.
Determining his motives. Perhaps we could discuss how to provoke Jeff into an emotional commitment. That's not how to think of it. It's we need chemistry.
I love how Jennifer Hale delivers these lines.
There are a number of pharmaceuticals I could inject to simulate the desired emotional state. No, I mean relax and do something you both like. Something simple. For example, you both like humor. Correct. I will see if there are comedic entertainment shows being presented on the Citadel. Scanning. Do you think he would like The Man Who Hung Himself? It appears to be about an amorous plastic surgeon. Edie, the important thing is to have a good time, wherever you go. If you're having fun, he probably will too.
Then the outcome is an unknown quantity. But you are saying I should attempt it anyway.
Nobody ever fell in love without being a little bit brave.
I see. I believe you have improved my chances, Shepard. Thank you.
Really like the whole Edie Joker thing. I think, because I think they were
You
kind
have
of.
the option to make it not happen.
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. It's denying us content.
You don't want them distracted, man. They got more important things to do.
For the best in the business, come to Casa.
Thank you for shopping at Casa Fabrication Weaponry.
Alright. Paolo's Cafe. I think we've done... Well, we can go talk to General Araka. It's one of our side quests here.
Commander Shepard.
General Araka. I think we met in Cora's den. You were pretty miserable, if I recall.
Yeah, this is the guy who was being... This is Septimus. He was being a dick to the Asari consort. And we resolved it. I think Stream voted to resolve it by getting him to go back to the consort and apologize.
Yes. Neck deep in drink just before I retired. I'm clean now. Reinstated.
I hear you're
Hey,
taking over
Fezdoc, how you
Blue
doing?
Suns.
I need to do my part for the Citadel, Commander. The Blue Suns are raiding C-Sec weapons shipments. I'm putting a stop to that. Those mercs are seriously jeopardizing the Citadel's ability to defend itself if the war comes here. When the war comes here.
There are other ways to secure weapons, General.
You don't think I've tried? There's a black market dealer on Citadel right now, but he won't sell his top-line arms. The Reapers are destroying everything in their path, and I can't stop them. But I can stop the Blue Suns.
Later night. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. I'm not convinced. Biotics doesn't have any mysticism. That's what I don't like about the Force, is it's mystical. It's unknown. It's not understandable. It's sort of like, you could say that the magic system in the Name of the Wind book is indistinguishable from the magic in Harry Potter. But the magic in Name of the Wind is natural. Like, there are expected effects. There are established limit to the effects. You can't just randomly get an artifact to let you go back in time, for example. Like, I think everything they add in the Mass Effect universe is makes sense in the context of the rules.
I never liked that criticism, because, like, what's she supposed to do? Establish every single possible magical item that exists in the universe in the first chapter of the first book?
Well, it's fine for Harry Potter. It's a different kind of story. Magic is supernatural in Harry Potter. But you go into it and we have this agreement. There's this contract between the reader and the author that in this universe, magic is supernatural. It's not fully understood. There's potentially no limit to what magic can do, right? So once you've agreed that you're in that universe, like...
I think of the biotic stuff in this as, like, mutants.
Let me see what I can...
They're like mutants. They're like X-Men.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate your help, and I'll have a plan of action ready if things fall through. We've got to keep Jake and Dave.
All right. The naming part of it? Yeah, I guess it's like sympathy is science magic and naming is like magic.
So, like, mitochondria, those are like the Scientology things.
The body thetans.
Thetans.
We should probably move on from this subject. On to better and brighter things.
Welcome, Commander Shepard. Please select a destination.
Alright, let's go down. Yeah, see the issue... Okay, no, moving on. Talk about midichlorians. Midichlorians is an attempt to take a mystical concept and, in retrospect, explain
Dude, they
it.
told me the same thing, Chaos.
The powerhouse of the cell.
I'm trying to remember what was the one that was like the UPS of the cell, where it did all the packaging and then sent it out like the mail. Maybe it was the mitochondria. Was it the mitochondria also originally they thought it was its own cell and then it merged with another cell? Wait, no.
Andrew, now you're saying mitochondrion.
Whatever. What is it?
All right, there's the mitochondria, which is an actual biological real
no, that's
thing.
what I'm talking about.
You're not talking about midi-chlorians.
No,
which is a Star
I'm
Wars
pretty
thing.
sure. Yeah, I was just getting the name mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that was originally a cell, and then it merged with other cells.
Right, Cloud Reaver?
Oh, maybe the Golgi apparatus was the UPS store. That just brings back memories of something kind of tan and folded. Like a ribbon.
Where's the Shrike Abyssal? It's one that has a thing
Man, I
in
did
it.
not like biology. Because it was, at least when I was taught, it was all memorization.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really got it to a special place of like loathing in my heart was when I had to memorize the reproductive cycle of Protus. Ugh. That's not interesting. Or slime mold. Also not interesting.
Have you heard the Qui-Gon Jinn is a psychopath? Well, not that he's a psychopath, but he's like a weirdo. Like, we only see the Phantom Menace through his point of view, but like, there's this theory that says that all the other Jedi think that he's crazy, and his whole midichlorians theory is stupid. And that's why they don't ever bring it back up in the second or third prequel movies. Except maybe briefly in passing. Like, he's some guy that believes in modified gravity, or... I guess modified gravity's not that weird. What's a really weird, like, flat... He's like a flat earther of the Jedis.
Well, that's just wrong.
Yeah. Hey, RTL Zelda. How you doing?
Oh, there you go. The mitochondria was originally its own thing.
Yes, Yukupo, that was exactly the thing I was getting at there.
You know, I'm trying real hard to do the whole let's move on to something else. And you just, you know what, fine. You want to talk about mitochondrians off the scale or whatever. Have at it.
When's the last time you played through the Mass Effect series, RT? I guess we can't do the mission that's here yet. Maybe it'll unlock later. We've got a journal entry for it, but there aren't any planets for us to visit. Unless if it's something
Now,
we find
was it
with
the
scanning.
mitochondria where they can, like, see how much our, like, DNA overlaps with other things? Like monkeys?
Yeah.
Chaos doesn't discriminate.
Sometime this last May. I beat Mass Effect 3 once when it came out. I had played Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 a bunch of times, though.
Evasion successful.
Sorry, Cloud Reaver. Mitochondria only. Wah! Have you guys seen the XKCD comic talking about the purity of the sciences? There's a response to it I was telling Andrea about where it's like the biologist.
This response is really funny.
Yeah, the biologist. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Biologists are like, you know, you look at the number of deaths from plagues and diseases that people are now immune to because of vaccinations and like cleanliness, and they're just like, we basically killed one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, whereas the physicists just went in the desert and made a new one.
Oh, RT, Andrea can make it not terrifying. She can completely break you out of your immersion in the Mass Effect universe. What do the Reapers sound like?
Wah!
She does that every time they make that sound. Wah! So I had played Mass Effect 3, like, oh, man, that's pretty scary whenever the Reapers come after you, and then Andrea will walk and be like, what's that wah sound?
Yeah, I saw that you subscribed, Darkstar.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. I don't think I have time to do the Genophage mission, but I don't really have any other side quests to do.
Oh, yeah, how do
talk to
people
folks on
like
the ship.
the scrolly thing that he added? He did that this morning.
Now let's go talk to Joker now that Edie's officially presented that she wants to get it on. You weren't picking up on the
So I
hints
feel
of
like
that for Mass
robot
Effect
plus
2.
guy with fragile bones, that could be bad.
No, that could be great.
I guess she can be
She's more
careful.
precise.
While this body has olfactory senses, I do not
I
have
broke
positive or
it.
negative associations with any specific scent.
Oh, well, lucky you.
Yeah. So you should, basically what we're saying is that if you're in a horror movie, you want Andrea on your side.
Yeah.
How's the ship running, Edie? I am updating the cyber warfare suite around our Reaper IFF. It should resemble Reaper code exactly.
Commander?
Not gonna tell me about your relationship there, Joker? Okay. All right.
Let's talk about your relationship.
We're playing Mass Effect 3 for another 18 minutes before we switch to Valkyria Chronicles till 4 o'clock. And
That
then
sounds like something I'd say. I ain't got time for this. I have to read this letter.
from 4 to 6, we're playing Subblock. We're doing a game Xenosaga from Cappy Man from 4 to 5, and Legend of the Mystical Ninja from 5 to 6. Like this cool secret loading screen right there. Well done.
Better than the...
They didn't have to make them all into little weird freight elevators that move really slowly. I definitely prefer to have like in-universe loading screens versus a literal loading screen, but...
The Turians pull another move like that, Shepard, and this alliance is off.
Just bear with me, Rex. This is hard for all of us.
I've got Reapers on my planet. A bomb that almost blew up my planet. And if those two fail...
He's been on Patreon, I think about as long as you have. Maybe like he started a week or so before I saw your lunch party.
Understood.
So like...
Is there something you need?
A month? No. September. Yeah, because you got
I was doing
stuff in
Hitbox
October.
before that. I didn't realize that Patreon is a way better deal than Hitbox.
Yeah, Hitbox restrains you to only pay him $5, whereas Patreon, people can pay him whatever they want.
Well, more so that Hitbox takes half of it.
Yeah, also, yeah, Patreon doesn't take as big
I
a
did
cut.
Hitbox first because I thought that Hitbox had a similar like foot traffic rate to Twitch, but there are very few people on Hitbox compared to Twitch, and the people on Hitbox are usually watching the...
We're saying hi to people now, right? Hi, Overboard Gaming.
Hey, Overboard, how you doing? You should check out their channel. It's really cool. Most people on Hitbox are playing like the top 20 games on Twitch, like League of Legends and Hearthstone and the like.
What will you do after the
Yeah, man, Patreon is awesome, especially for small streamers.
Most Krogan will want to settle a score with the Turians and Solarians.
Yeah, so does Twitch. If I ever achieve an exclusive partnership, people that hit the sub button will pay about half of it to Twitch directly.
What's Overboard Gaming?
That's,
Is that when you
probably
rage quit and throw the thing over your boat?
Oh, you're asking... No, you're not asking what the channel is. Haven't you tuned in with them when I've watched them before? Two dudes?
Oh, that sounds familiar. They're playing a first-person shooter.
This is my wife, Andrea.
I like this image of like two people playing chess on a yacht and then just fuck this and throwing the whole board with the pieces overboard.
They have a great channel. They're very funny.
It's called Overboard.
It would be really nice to have a co-host thing going on. That's cool.
The time for mourning is later. Is there something you need?
I think we don't have anything else to say to this guy.
Of course, Commander.
So, are y'all ready for the whole Reaper thing? How's that going for you?
What, you want to like check out the readiness list?
Yeah, I'm just, trying to make conversation. So, how's it going?
All right, catch you later, RT. Thanks for popping in. All right, so we have all this readiness now. We're already past the minimum. And did we say that the value you want to get
Have
at...
you played the cat simulator where you just knock things off? It's awesome.
Did that game ever actually come out?
Oh, I don't know. In my mind, it did.
There was briefly a browser game. So each time you do some of these missions, occasionally it'll say that you get some war assets, and that's what builds that meter there at the bottom. It ends up having kind of a mild impact on the actual ending. But this is how they're trying to say, let's make all your decisions count to something at the end. Let's make it into a numerical value. So like saving Kirrahe in Mass Effect 1 is why he shows up here. He's the hold the line guy.
Hold the line! Wait, I thought he died.
No, I let him live.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Yeah, so he came back and we got to talk to him again. So I'm not a monster. Grunt only survived the Arachni mission because we had him completely loyal and did everything right in Mass Effect 2. He can die in that mission. Airlac Company, you get more of them if you choose to let the Arachni Queen die. But as a result, you don't get Arachni with you. I think I've got them. They might be under Crucible.
Dude, I killed the shit out of the Arachni Queen.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so we get like 100 readiness out of the Rachni workers. We may have gotten 100 readiness out of the Aerolak company instead. I think that ultimately saving the Rachni and saving the Queen gets you more net readiness than letting the Queen die. I have Dieter. Yeah, actually I did a little bit. I played it for like maybe 10 minutes on stream too, during a Super Nintendo free play day a few months ago before I started playing Smash regularly on stream. But I didn't make a save file or anything like that, so we'll be starting it off fresh. I never beat it. I think I had a friend who owned it, and I played it 2-player with them at one point.
What's xenocidal mean?
You want to kill aliens. Xeno, like xenophobia.
Oh.
Afraid of aliens. Xenocidal.
Right. Like Ashley.
Orson's got card.
Well, like...
Get yourself some buggers.
We all thought that they were extinct anyway. When they weren't extinct, they were kind of, like, making my day bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, the decision to kill the Rachni Queen...
be in my best interest to,
only seems like it's
kill.
objectively wrong in the context of what they actually did in Mass Effect 3, but in the moment when you make it, when you don't know how BioWare's going to handle it...
Yeah!
Could make sense. Like, why would you trust this thing?
You know, everyone already thinks this stuff's extinct. Let's just make that a reality. I mean, that's easier than explaining to everyone that they're actually not extinct.
That's not a good reason to commit genocide, but okay.
Laziness. It was genocide, it was xenocide.
Okay.
Right, well, that's actually an important distinction, because it is a kind of a survival thing of my species versus their species. Their species wants to kill my species, therefore I will kill their species. Alright, James.
You see that Krogan female?
Awesome, Dieter. I'll make sure I save it and get it on YouTube. I'll be playing for quite a bit longer than 10 minutes this time, too, so I can see more of just the beginning of the game.
Mega Man.
Nicknames.
It's just my way of remembering people. Some people just don't match their names, you know? So, I just give them a new one.
So I'm a Lola, huh?
I think her name is Barbie.
Yeah, my best friend's sister growing up was Lola. Older sister. Hot. Tough.
Ew, he liked his sister?
No, his best friend's sister.
Oh.
See you, Dieter. Just hanging out.
Ciao.
You mentioned a mission you had against the Collectors. What happened?
Pretty much what I said. Things went foobar, and I was one of the few to make it out. If you want the rest of the story, you're gonna have to get me really drunk, or...
Or what?
That's about it. Sorry, Commander. Just not interested in talking about that. Next topic?
Be really careful not to hit on James here.
You had a hard time leaving Earth.
Why?
You still want to head back?
Because I don't want to commit to a relationship with a squad member until we have all the relationship options on the table.
We'll get back.
And we can have stream vote on it.
I know. And I'll do whatever it takes to get us there, Commander.
Maybe no more shuttle.
We might actually be there. Let me check
No
ME3 romance options.
Besides, I like to keep Esteban on his toes.
I love the Cortez back and forth with him. Well written.
Know each other?
Yeah, Esteban did a stint on Fel Prime where me and my squad were stationed. I caught up with him on Earth a few months back. He's a good guy. Just don't tell him I said so.
Diana Abbas?
I'll go ahead and put this to a vote now. We're going to determine what our romance decision is for Mass Effect 3. We've met all the characters that we can romance. So who should we romance? We can do... Thane. I guess we can't because we didn't do him in 2. Samantha, Trainer.
Does not
we can't
grant
do Garrus
the
because we didn't do it.
achievement.
Caden. Kelly Chambers. Liara. Deanna Allers.
Diana Abbas.
Wait, seriously? No way.
Yeah, romance Rex. I'm with Overboard.
Oh man, Overboard.
Rex.
You and
Vote
my
Rex.
wife are friends forever.
Vote Rex.
Like,
Rex is best. Rex love is best love.
she opted not to romance anybody in her playthrough because she wanted to be able to romance Rex and was never able to. So whenever she'd see Rex, she'd just like sigh, like whenever Harrison Ford shows up on the screen.
You can romance Yavik?
In the Citadel DLC, apparently. Alright, so if you wanted to vote on who we're romancing, vote 1, Samantha Trainer, 2, Caden, 3, Kelly Chambers, 4, Liara, 5, Diana Allers, 6, Citadel DLC, Javik, 7, Citadel DLC, Samara, 8 Citadel DLC James, or 9 Romance Nobody. Save ourselves for Rex.
James? Oh, Vega.
Yeah.
James is Vega.
Correct.
Talk to you later.
You bet.
I don't think Femship.
Space hamster.
You can't romance the space hamster. You can go get it though.
I like the space hamster.
I think if we go to engineering, we might be able to catch it. We did buy it in the previous game. So exclamation point vote followed by the number. Just check chat to see the options are.
Alright, show him Marty. Oh wait, nope, he's
No,
there.
he'll leave. Just gonna spite Andrea.
Kaden. Yeah, you can do what you want.
It's cool. She can save herself. She didn't romance anybody in Mass Effect 1 or 2. Oh, wait, there's the hamster's down here. You have to catch it, though. I don't remember...
Hey, he's still there.
I'll see if he pokes his head through later.
Can I do it? No, I won't.
Let me see. You might have to, like, run away and then come back. It's really hard to do, and I don't think it does anything. I think it just adds it to your office. You have the little space hamster, and it only shows up in
Doesn't do anything.
What? It's a cute
That's
space
important.
hamster.
You need companionship, especially in the cold, unforgiving.
There it is. Got
depth
it.
of
Space
space.
hamster. Got it. I think I got it. Maybe.
Space hamster!
Right.
Aw, he's so cute.
Yeah, romance the hamster. So we'll go up to
Oh, Rex.
the captain's table. What an honor. Yeah, looks like we're not gonna be romancing Rex, Andrea. Stream is turning on you. 2 votes for Kelly Chambers, 1 for Caden.
Caden!
The little hamster squeaks if you talk to it.
Let me winks.
Yeah, that's why you want to find it. Yeah, so the hamster only shows up if you bought it in Mass Effect 2. There's some random store in the Citadel you can buy it from. Did you know that mirrors in gaming are really hard to do? Like, you kind of have to cheat to get them to display. Otherwise, you just have to, like, render everything twice, and it doubles the processing time. People haven't found out. I mean, usually they have, like, a good enough way of rendering mirrors, but it typically isn't just double the photons and, like, actually do mirror emulation.
Are flat mirrors harder or easier than curved mirrors?
I imagine they're easier. Would you expect them to be?
No, I would. So no one just even tries curved mirrors.
They'll simulate it if they have them. They'll like add some fake distortion in it, but they'll never actually like simulate light rays bouncing off of your character and the environment and then being recast back out of the mirror. Usually their shortcut will be let's just re-render everything but reversed.
Hey Ben. You're so furry.
Oh, Mega Man. Alright, I'm gonna set a timer here.
Is he so happy?
That's right, I forgot. Stream voted to let Samara die, so that's not really an option. Don't vote for it.
Romance the vampire daughter?
We did that. That was why people voted to kill Samara, so we could see that scene. After we beat Mass Effect 2, we went and did the game over sequence. Critical mission failure that you get for romancing Morinth. There's one working mirror in Last of Us overboard. That's awesome. Like what does it get used for? Like is it for a story thing? Is it during a cutscene or something? I think Kelly Chambers is gonna take it. Yeah, okay, we're doing Kelly Chambers. She was the assistant in Mass Effect 2 who offers to feed your fish for you.
Aw. Nice of her.
We'll pay it forward. Getting it out. Alright, it is time to switch to Valkyria Chronicles. Since I can't do the next priority mission in 3 minutes.
Makes sense.
So give me a few minutes to resync my controller. And get everything updated on Twitch. I'll throw up the BRB in the meantime. We'll be back shortly.